Before jumping on to the Rock Creek Trail, I had the opportunity to interview the Honorable Mayor Flora and the City Administrator of Mission, Laura Smith. Can you tell us about the Mission's
Yeah.
connection plan?
So we had, well, it'll actually be a two-phase project, but yeah, the first phase was finished up about a year ago. No, I'm sorry, I'm getting my projects confused again, but that is our bike ped plan for the city. So only one phase on that. We also have a Rock Creek Trail plan going on where I'm thinking about the two phases. So yeah, our bike ped plan looked at the entire city and our existing network, which is not great in terms of bike and walking connectivity. And so it created basically a whole map of the city and looked at priority trail connections across the city as we're doing future road projects, or they could be freestanding projects as well. What to look at to create better bike corridors that would connect throughout the community, better walking trails as well, sidewalks, all of that, and sort of what should it gave us priorities as well. So what should be those, first tier projects, second tier projects, but sort of gave us a view of what that complete map would be if you were to improve walkability, bikeability.
Great public engagement. The residents came out and put pins and said, here's where I feel safe, here's where I don't feel safe, here's where I'd like to go. So now we get to layer that on top of all of our projects.
So you talked about Rock Creek phase 1, phase 2.
Yep.
So describe sort of how far that reaches and what it connects to.
Well, we have the Rock Creek Trail, which basically traverses the entire city limits, thanks to a city administrator who secured a grant many years ago. And
East-West,
right? And so we have been working with Mark through their Planning Sustainable Places grant program.
We've got a little runner here
to look at what can we do. We have the basic trail infrastructure, but what can we do to make the trail experience more enjoyable, where people might want to come and spend more time. So we've done Knoll to Woodson was phase 1, lots of great green space amenities. And then we are just kicking off phase 2, which will be Lamar to the city limits, just behind Target. And we have a walk and roll event on October 4th from 10 to noon that we invite the community, and we had great participation in that. We call it the walk and roll. So strollers, bikes, people on their feet come out and just kind of experience the trail. We're looking at safety concerns, just accessibility, all those things, and what our community wants and needs.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you think about trails and sidewalks, what do you think the most important aspect is to those? Is it health? Is it transportation? Is it tourism? Why do you think trails and sidewalks are important to a community?
Yeah, I mean, I think for our community, it really ties into that sense of place and community, right? So if you have everyone out and on foot and on bike, it's a lot easier to make those personal connections and to see your neighbors than if everybody is zipping by in a car. So I think that just having that network, I think people like the green space, getting out to see their neighbors, as well as connecting with our downtown. We have our Johnson Drive Mission Business Strip, and that's a walk area more than a bike area because it's got diagonal parking. But just really bringing the community together and getting out and being active.
As you think about your community and you think about trails, if I were to say, what's that one trail, sidewalk, route connection that you walk, ride, roll, that you go like, that's sort of like the epitome of what I think trails and sidewalks should look like? Where would that be?
Well, I mean, I think in Mission, the Rock Creek Trail is our best trail, and I think it's really great that we're doing additional work to improve that experience as well. And then we also really like just walking in the neighborhoods as well. Mission is an older city, has a great tree canopy in a lot of places, so getting sort of that natural feel too.
I think there are some great trail experiences in Shawnee Mission Park, especially if you have a dog and like to enjoy that experience. Lots of great opportunities, I think, really throughout Johnson County. And
yeah, because we do have the challenge that we're smaller and we're landlocked. So if you look at some of the bigger parks like Shawnee Mission Park or Black Hoof Park in Lenexa, we're not going to be able to build anything like that. So I think really that explains in part the focus on, I guess, what you would call more of like an urban trail network, with looking at Rock Creek Trail and how do we make just our city streets more accessible, because we don't have a huge, 100-acre site to build a big park with great trails.
If you wanted a visitor to know what makes Mission special, what would that be?
Yeah, I mean, I think it really is that sense of community. You hear people talk about, small town and the big city, and I think, the engagement that we've had on some of these projects is really reflective of that. We've talked about the walk and roll, and then we do an annual citywide cleanup. We have our Mission Farmers Market, and just everyone is so enthusiastic about being a part of Mission.
Yeah, I think that sense of community, and I think we take great pride in being a little bit quirky and unique. We're not like maybe your typical suburban community, and people really value that. So yeah, it makes it special. There's something I think for everybody here.
Well, Mayor and Laura, thank you for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Welcome to September 16th, 2025 on the Ride for Resilience. With me today, I have a high school friend, Craig Bloom, and I'm going to show you his picture right now. Okay, we are on the Mission Pathway is what it's called, but it's also called the Rock Creek Trail because it parallels Rock Creek. So Rock Creek's kind of on my left or south side of Martway, and we're headed west towards Metcalf. This is what I would call an urban trail, in that it's laid out using a combination of wide sidewalks, or mixed-use pathways is what you'll typically hear them call. Then we're going to get into regular trail, which is just going to be asphalt. There might be a couple places where we hit a bit of gravel, but this is a pretty good example of how you can create an urban trail. And here's an apartment complex called Lanes that's been built in the last 12 months that you're seeing out of the back of my camera right now, right behind me. And we're coming up on Martway, and we have to do a tricky kind of double cross. We have to go across, and then we have to go across again in order to get to the better path. A lot of this was made possible by Cap Fed, who was willing to carve up a piece of their land so that we could run the path behind it. This was a trail that was built when I was city administrator here almost 14 years ago. Oh, the trail's older than that, probably 15 or 16. With that, thank you.